Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 593. I'm Bryan Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by USA Today best-selling author of Heart and Bottom-Warming Romance, Golden Angel. Golden, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. We are recording this on your birthday, which is so cool. Happy birthday!
So I think this is a great way to spend my birthday.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you feel that way. We were talking about this off the air. We're both former theater kids, and we've both done improv, and it is kind of funny. There are not so many extroverts in the author world, so we have to flock together.
Yes, and drag our little introvert friends along the way.
I know. We really do. We really do. So many people, like over the last couple of years, I've really tried to let's get people I've never had do the show on the show, and because we had always had steady co-hosts, and then it's like, no, let's just mix it up. And so it's like people love you. People are always talking about, oh, Golden, she's so cool, and I mean, you've built up by virtue of being an extrovert, you've built up these followings on TikTok. You've built up this connection with your readers. Like, we talk so much about introversion on this show. How do you think being an extrovert has helped you on the marketing side of things with your books?
Oh, I think it helps a lot because, when I first started really getting marketing advice, and, the marketing advice always shifts, but when I really started paying attention to it, there was a lot of stuff that I think was very difficult for introverts, but very easy for me, connect with the readers, get on social media, talk to the readers, have a Facebook group, create an Instagram, interact with them. And I'm like, yes, this all sounds amazing. And so many of my introvert friends are like, what do I say to them? How do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, you just talk to them.
Yeah.
You just talk to them. Like, I'm over here having a blast getting to know my readers, I love my Facebook group. It's almost at 4,000 people now, which is amazing.
Nice.
But there is that little part of me that misses the early days when there were less than 100 people and I could respond to every comment. And I knew everybody's names. I knew what was going on in their lives. And I knew that wasn't going to last. So I really treasured it while I was able to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really cool to go and be like, oh my God, I have 4,000 people in my Facebook group and it's popping, it's active. And I think, I hear from so many authors who are like, oh, my Facebook group is dead. Facebook groups are dead. No one interacts. No one. And I was just like, I don't know what to say to that, because for me, I'm just like, I think one of the biggest advantages I have is that I'm constantly in my group. Yeah. I want to talk to all those people. I'm having fun. And I think that's the biggest difference, especially on social media in an age of authenticity. I'm genuinely enjoying myself when I'm interacting on social media. And I think it's so hard for a lot of introverts to genuinely enjoy themselves. And that comes through, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people will listen to this and say, well, good for you two extroverts. Yeah. I consider myself an ambivert because I sometimes do need to recharge, but but I want people to think of this in the right way. Look, the two of us here, theater kids, extroverts, this is one of our superpowers. Yes. But I don't think authors should not discount their own superpower.
No, and there's downsides to this. A big downside is that it is so easy for me to get sucked into social media. I will spend all day on it, and I shouldn't be. I need to be writing my book. I need to be doing other things. Right. But all this time will pass, and I'm getting sucked in, and I'm getting emotionally involved, and I can't check social media and then write. I can't.
No,
it won't work.
Same here. Cannot do it.
Yeah. So, but it's really hard not to check social media. So I now have, I put parental controls on my own phone.
I do too.
You have to. I only have access to social media from lunchtime until 10 p.m. at night, because otherwise I won't sleep and I won't get my work done in the morning. And I have that true on the weekends too, because I did not realize how much I would just automatically reach for my phone and go to Facebook or go to
Yes.
TikTok.
Mhm.
And I wasn't thinking about doing it. I wasn't thinking I want to check Facebook. But it wasn't until I made it impossible for myself to access those apps that I realized how often I was going to them without
Yep.
thinking about it. Like it
Yep.
was just a habit. Um,
That's so funny because
yeah.
I have so many similarities to you on this. It's just I'll like delete Facebook off my phone and then reinstall it when I need to use it, just because I
Um,
know I'll get so sucked in.
yeah. I mean, I'm on there every day. I need
Yeah,
to. I have homework from Becca Syme to take a social media fast. And I'm like, well, I'm intermittent fasting. Does that count?
that you're intermittently Facebook fasting. That's so incredible.
Yes. And she
That's
said no, and that I need to take a real fast.
yeah.
But
Damn it, Becca.
no.
Damn it,
Oh,
Becca.
that's a good question. Before we get too deep into this, can I curse? Because otherwise,
I'll say,
but
damn it is fine because
okay.
we'll avoid
No
some of
F
the
bomb.
other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Let's
can.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
We'll
just like
try our best.
I need forewarning because I have a potty mouth. So
I appreciate you asking. I appreciate you asking. So let's get into the show proper here. And by the way, just ad read for Golden here if you want some of that amazing romance that we discussed. GoldenAngelRomance.com. Go check her out. Go check out her stuff, and on all the socials. But don't like take her away from her writing. Look, she
yeah.
needs to write, people.
I'm working very hard on getting firm boundaries in
Okay,
place,
good.
and and if you want my advice and stuff, that's on my TikTok, and I do have consulting hours, and that's accessible from my webpage. So
Love it.
I'm doing my best.
You're doing good. You're doing good. So we had a question a couple weeks ago, and we had Katie Cross on here, which was, what are the fears and excitements that come to mind when thinking about narrating your own audiobook? So I'll ask you this in a second, Golden. But Shane Kowalak said, my last book is nonfiction about cybersecurity, and my biggest fear is that my voice might turn someone off and they won't get the full impact from the text, but I certainly can't afford a professional narrator. I am learning as much as possible and heading down this road very soon. I'm very self-conscious about my voice, Shane. Then just try to do 500 weeks of podcasts, and then people will get used to your voice. Amy Martinson, author, said, I've narrated 2 of my books so far, and I'm working on the third. It took me about 3 months practicing and getting feedback from others to feel the confidence I needed, that my voice isn't hideous. And yes, I can do this. And
Why
I'm
do we all
glad,
hate our
Amy.
own voices so much? Oh my
I
god.
know, we do, but we need to get better about this. So Dharma K said last year, I took on the challenge of narrating my first audiobook, multiple learning curves. First, the performance learning curve. Audiobooks aren't simply read aloud, they are performed. I had to learn to slow down. I had to learn pacing. I had to learn different ways to perform a given sentence, what words to emphasize, how to even bring third-person narration to life. Then there was the recording learning curve. There was the editing and mastering learning curve. So many learning curves. Great answers on this one. I didn't
Yeah.
expect as many people to have tried this. Golden, what would you think about
So
recording your own? Or maybe you
my
already have.
my husband has actually narrated a few of my books, and the
Oh,
audiobooks are up for sale. He's done 3 of them.
wow. Mm-hmm.
And I did initially intend to duet narrate one of them with him.
Yeah.
And at that point, he had already done the first 2. And I was like, I do theater, I perform, I can read, like, let's do this. And then listen, and that what
Yeah,
Dharma
what one
said
woman said,
about
yeah.
the learning curve is so real,
Mm-hmm.
because especially because like when the character is shouting, if I'm on stage or even in front of a camera, I'm going to shout, but you can't
Yes.
shout for an audiobook. You're going to blow their eardrums out.
Yep.
So like he's giving me all these notes. Like I recorded 1 chapter, he's giving me all these notes. I was actually very happy with the performance in a lot of way, but the learning curve I realized was going to take too much time away from my book, like my
Yep.
writing time and
Yep.
and the admin and everything else that I have to do. So I ended up being like, you know what? Never mind. You've got this. You do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am writing. I'm currently writing my first nonfiction book, which will be just basically
Ooh,
my just the tip TikToks turned into book form, and I do plan on narrating that one.
that's so
Um,
exciting.
Yay, which I mean, honestly, like it started out as video content, so
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
narrating it doesn't it feels pretty natural because it started out as people watching and listening to it. So
That's amazing. Awesome. Oh, well, if you didn't know this, you heard it here first. Go check out
I don't
Golden's nonfiction book when that comes out.
I don't think I've talked about it much because it's not done. I'm still
Well,
working
yeah,
on.
but now people are teased.
Yes.
They
Well,
are
yeah, and that'll
teased.
help too because I'm very externally motivated. So if people start
Hmm.
being like, "When is this coming?" It's very motivating for 'em. I probably shouldn't have said that. Oh God.
I'm the same. I'm the same. If I mention something now, I'm like, no, I have to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but great answers, everybody. You can answer the question of the week at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or at sellmorebookshow.com. You ready for the top story of the week, Golden? All
I'm
right, let's
excited
do
about
it.
this.
Yay. Neurodivergent superpowers. Quote, when I realized and accepted that my brain was different, I was able to stop beating myself up for taking a different path to the end, writes Jenny Hansen for Writers Helping Writers. Quote, the way all my friends did it just didn't work for me, but I still wanted to get my work done, end quote. Instead of sticking to rote advice, Hansen started to experiment with different tools and techniques that worked with her strengths, rather than ones that forced her to adapt to them. Some of the biggest benefits came from breaking down tasks into chunks that worked for her, reducing overwhelm, and increasing her progress. Hansen also found that creating a dedicated writing environment helped, as changing locations put her in the writing mood and sparked creativity. She also experimented with writing at different times to see if certain ones helped her focus. Quote, my highest focus tasks happen right after the first cup of coffee and late at night. It's so freeing to find out when your highest focus times are and lean into them, end quote.
Yeah.
I know, right? The coffee especially.
Yeah.
Keeping things on track required looking at new and old tools. Whiteboards have been a game changer, she said. Also, index cards with story questions on my bathroom mirror. There are a lot of great tools and resources to help corral a busy brain, end quote. In addition to her analog tools, Hansen has been leaning into digital tools that minimize distractions while writing, timers to promote writing sprints, and note-taking tools that allow her to easily capture her thoughts and quickly get back to writing. Finally, she reminds us to prioritize self-compassion. Quote, recognizing and being compassionate about the challenges associated with a neurodivergent brain is sometimes most of the battle. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding and enjoy your unusual brain, end quote. Hansen has written a 3-part series on writing as a neurodivergent author. Click the links in our show notes to learn more about the processes, techniques, and tools she's found the most helpful. Golden, what stuck out to you from this article?
I think the biggest thing is how individual and honestly this isn't just for neurodivergent authors either, although I think there's so much advice that's out there that will not work for neurodivergent authors that it is
Yes.
probably most important for them.
Yes.
But there's like this is such an individual process for
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The same way doesn't is not going to work for every single person. There might be some things that overlap, but we all have such different processes and different paths to success. And I think that being able to understand what process works best for you and accepting it instead of
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you are wrong because your process is different from successful author that you look up to and want to be like that is so incredibly important. Because
Yeah.
the more we can work with our brains instead of against them, the better our lives are going to be, and the better of a creative process you're going to have, and the better time you're going to have. And that's so important.
We don't have to feel guilty for being
No.
weird.
Yes. Oh God, please no. Yeah.
We're all so weird and it's the best. It's our
Yes.
readers want to hear our weirdness
They do. They
and
do.
our brains work the way they work.
Yeah. And you can't change that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can tweak. You can sometimes tweak, but yeah, you can't change it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons I've done this show for 11 years and can't give it up is because of that commitment. Like you talked about it.
Yeah.
Like once you commit to something, it's hard to let it go because you don't want people to think badly of you.
Yes.
And I feel the same way about this show. And I think that having this show this long and working on this fits in my brain because now it's like, no, I have to do the show.
Right. And as
And
long as you're still enjoying it,
and it's like, yeah, and this is what I had to do is meet, and chat with wonderful people like you,
thank you.
to enjoy it. But even this show where we're gathering new points of view and new ways of doing things so that we don't just think there's one way to do it, because there are so many paths up the mountain.
Yes, absolutely.
So I've got a hot potato of wisdom question for you,
Okay,
Golden,
let's do it.
which is, what common writing advice doesn't work for you, and what have you done instead?
Stay in your lane. Screw
Hmm.
my lane.
Screw the lane. Screw the lane.
And I'm not saying that this is not helpful advice. I'm not saying it's not well-intended advice, but it is advice that works for some authors.
Yep.
And it is also, when you listen to the people who give this advice, a lot of them in the lead up to it talk about how much they experimented. Talk about how they wrote in all these different genres. Talk about how, like, even when they were writing in some genre, they found a certain thing that readers wanted from them. Maybe it was firemen. Like, they were like, oh, my firemen books were blowing up, and so now that's what I write, is fireman romance, not just all emergency services.
Right.
But they wouldn't have known that because
Yeah.
they didn't start with firemen. They had to experiment, but then they'll still tell people, but you got to choose your lane, because that's when I found success, is when I chose my lane. I'm like, no, you didn't choose your lane though. Your lane chose you. Your readers chose your lane, and they were only able to do that because you gave them a bunch of choices. And there are absolutely authors who go in and are like, this is what I want to write. This is what I'm going to write. This is what I'm going to make work. And that's perfect for them. But
Yep.
there are also a lot of us who are like, but I want to try this, and I want to try this, and I want to try this, and are being told over and over again, well, but if you want success, you have to stay in your lane. And I don't think that's true. I've had so many people tell me to my face that I'm a unicorn because I'm able to write in so many different genres. And I maybe, like, but at the same time, I'm like, or is it just that people aren't trying to? Because everyone's being told that in order to succeed, they have to stay in their lane. And I didn't hear that advice until it was way too late.
Yeah.
But if I had tried to follow it, it would not have worked for me. I wouldn't have the career that I have today. And I'm about to start my third pen name because I cannot stay in my lane. My brain doesn't, I would burn out. My brain doesn't work that way. I
Yeah.
can't even write 2 books in the same world back to back, much less like in the same genre back to back, much less 2 books in the same series. I have done it once.
Yeah.
Writing the second book in a row was such a painful experience. I have never done it again. I need the break. I need to do something different, and then I can come back to that previous world. Because I write long series, but I write them in different genres. And there's things that tie them together, like all my Golden Angel stuff. It's all kinky, regardless of what subgenre I'm writing in. My new pen name is going to be Vanilla, and there's always going to be some kind of paranormal or magical bent to it. And it's going to be steamy instead of erotic. And then my Sinister Ange pen name, that's all like dark. That's all my like creative. This doesn't fit under Golden Angel, but I really want to write it, and so I do it, and then I just put it up as Sinister Ange. But some of that starts to make a lot of money because it's something that readers want from me. And if I really wanted to narrow down and start making a bunch of money from that pen name, I would just write a bunch of Hugh Cal, because that's apparently what people want from that pen name. But which I would definitely not have known ever
if you hadn't experimented.
I would have not, because when I wrote it, it was literally like, no one is ever going to read this, but it's in my head and I've got to get it out. And so I wrote it, I put it up, and I firmly expected that this would be like just one of those throwaway books that makes maybe a couple dollars a year. And instead it is now the #1 earner for that pen name every single month.
That's so funny.
It's crazy.
I am working on a new course that I think is going to be the new big course. As I'm putting
Ooh,
it out there.
I like it.
New big course, lots of advanced stuff in there. But kind of what you're saying is actually a portion of the course.
Okay.
The right to market advice is kind of backwards. And people need to not just be experimenting in other genres, but thinking of pitches of books in other in lots of
Yeah.
different genres. And that actually takes less time, right? If I write, well, here's an idea for you know, just like every genre escapes me, paranormal cozy, and here's one for bully romance, and here's one for whatever. But like you really think it through, you think, oh, well, what are the tropes? What are the required scenes? What are the whatever? And you just do that. It might take a couple hours. It's not going to take 9 years to come up with a concept.
Right.
Obviously, if you have to write the outline, you have to do scenes. That's different. But it's like, great, you came up with that pitch. Now come up with another pitch. Now come up with another pitch. And I want to push more authors in that direction because, like, they will save some time over writing 9 different books in 9 different genres by coming up with these different pitches. And then they might get excited about one idea and want to write that. Or they share one of those ideas with some other people and they're like, I want to see that. And that's
right. Yeah, bounce it off some people and see what they respond to.
Exactly. And so that's part of my mega super awesome course that I'm going to announce soon.
And I like that because it's a different way of doing things, and also it's something that you can do now on like TikTok.
Yes.
Like, go on, throw the pitch at people, see what you get responses to.
Yep.
And then be like, all right, that's what I'm writing first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you've got a hot potatoes of wisdom question for me.
I do. All right. Do you have any unusual practices that authors might want to try to keep themselves focused, which I think goes very well with the story of the day?
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I think for me, keeping focused, a lot of it comes down to blocking out the rest of the world. So it's not necessarily that different with other people. I will put headphones on. Brain.fm is one of my favorites. Some of those binaural beats. But look, sometimes I go into the car to work. Sometimes I go to a coffee shop to work. Sometimes I just need to get away. Sometimes when we're on a vacation, I will get up at 5 a.m. before everyone else is up because I know I'll have like 3 straight hours to do something.
I hate how much that works.
I know it's probably really bad for our mental health, but it's really effective for getting stuff done. And so, like, sometimes you have to do something that's weird that your spouse will not like. But you do it and it helps you focus and you get through it and you make sure to make it up to your spouse later.
Well, and I love that we both have the parental controls on our phones to keep us off our apps.
It's
like
so
that's
funny.
I've talked to a few people who use like the Freedom app and stuff like that because that,
I also have that.
Oh, you have that?
I have both.
You need a double lockdown.
I need it's double locked. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and maybe our question of the week will be about this. One of those, we could even ask one of those 2 questions. But before we get to that, Golden, it's everybody's favorite part of the show where the guest host does a lightning or thunder sound.
Oh yeah.
So the stage is yours, my friend.
Oh.
Ooh, that was good. It felt like the bomb went off.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was good. So you give great publishing advice on TikTok. What's your favorite marketing trend going on right now?
I think my favorite marketing trend right now is, and I know this probably going to make some people mad because I've seen people complaining about it, but the images, the graphic images that has the cover in the center and then the little arrows pointing at the cover. I love those because with the heavy market saturation and with how many people are trying to get eyes on their books, and it is such a quick shorthand way of saying, this is what's in my book. Like, there's a lot of decision fatigue when it comes to choosing what you're going to read next. So readers are looking for what they want. And that is such a quick, easy, shorthand way of just saying, here's some of the coolest stuff from my book. Take it or leave it. And a lot of people will take it. And I think it's really easy for authors to create, and it can be shared on multiple platforms. I know some people hate them for some reason, but I think they're great.
I think they're great too. I think it just makes things easier.
Yeah. All right. So how do you consistently create content that you actually like making?
So first you need to figure out what it is you actually like. What it is you actually like doing. Because if you're just doing it because someone else told you to, it's not going to work. You need to figure out what you like doing, what feels good to you. Because if it feels good to you, you're going to keep doing it, or you're going to find ways to do it. But if you're forcing yourself to do things you don't like, that's not really going to work. And then give yourself the gift of doing it, like batch processing it, giving yourself extra time to do a bunch of them. I remember working with an author last year, and she's like, oh, I love doing my TikToks, but I've gotten really busy now. And I'm like, how many do you think you could get done in an hour? And she's like, I don't know, 15 to 20. I'm like, do it. And she was now set up for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is you can find to do what you already like doing more consistently, especially if it works. Especially if it works. Don't be like, oh, but I didn't email my readers today and I was supposed to. It's like, dude, if this thing works better than that, do the thing that is working.
Yeah. I like that.
You love TikTok. I'm a fan of TikTok as well. Golden, how would you recommend an author get started on TikTok if they've waited this long and they're like, finally I'll do it? Like, what do you recommend?
I would recommend getting on, creating an account, and not immediately posting videos. Actually, I would recommend getting on, creating an account, looking for book talk, looking for other authors, start following them, and just get a feel for the platform. It's a little different from a lot of the other platforms. And before you start making your own videos, and this is another point where, like, honestly, I think experimentation is really good. I think that it's going to take a little bit. It takes everybody a little bit before they hit their stride. So if you want to create, when you do start creating, once you've seen the examples of what's out there, you've kind of seen what people are doing, start. And also what I did at the beginning was I started looking for like the how-to creators, the people who were telling you how to do certain things on TikTok to create the videos that you're seeing, like how to use the tools. That's all available for free on the platform. So you can watch how to use it. You can see how other people are using it, and then start thinking about, well, what would I like to do? And really making that decision of, do I want to show my face? Do I not want to show my face? If I'm okay with showing my face, but I'm not dedicated to it, try a bunch of things. See what people are responding to. My TikTok grew really organically because I just kind of was trying a ton of different things, and looking, and it wasn't like I was tracking. I was not doing any heavy tracking, but I would just kind of look, and I realized very quickly that videos with my face stayed, like, that was what was getting the most views, and it was very obvious. So it's like, all right, but I don't just do that because I don't always feel like making video. Like, I do the page flips, I do all sorts of things, because again, I'm just always experimenting and trying to have fun. Try to have fun with it. And if you're not having fun with it, stop. Don't do it. Go find whatever social media you do enjoy. TikTok is not the end all be all.
You are the first person I've ever heard recommend watching the how to create TikTok videos.
Really?
Videos on TikTok. But it makes total sense. I have this great Instagram account I follow where I haven't done them, but he shows you how to do all the trick video edits.
Yes.
And I'm like, those are cool. I should do those. And then I don't do them. But it's like, I mean, it's great advice, really
Yeah,
great
and
advice.
I mean, and they have the people who show the trick stuff, and then they have the people who show the super simple stuff that you're like
Yes.
that you just don't know how to do because you're new to it. It's such a great platform. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
So okay, so I just said, if it's not working for you, cut it out. So for you, what marketing methods are no longer worth the effort?
Look, I know we love them, and I know we hear about them, and maybe there's some influencers that have great ones, but you don't need to do a book tour if you don't want to do a book tour. You virtual or in person. You don't need. I'm thinking more virtual, but it's like you don't need to pay people in that way to spread the word. There's enough people spreading the word about themselves for free.
Yeah.
You don't need to go pay influencers if you don't want to. Like there's no, the marketing method that no longer works is you thinking that there is a marketing method that is going to save your career.
Oh, that yes.
Dropping
That's
dropping the truth bombs today,
oh my
Golden.
God. Yeah, that was I've got
There's
goosebumps.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, there's
Oh
no
my
marketing
God.
method. There's no marketing method that you don't already know about that is going to save your career
Or destroy it.
or
Like,
destroy it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
If you aren't
Absolutely.
doing it, your career will be fine. It's
Yeah.
not over just because you aren't doing it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I think so many ads and so many creators are advertising and selling things that you don't need.
Yeah. There's so much fear-based marketing directed at authors. It's
I
wild.
effing hate fear-based marketing. I'll tell you right now, Golden. I had this Instagram agency working with my content,
Mhm.
and they are like, well, we got to do these hooks, and we got to, and I was busy for a couple weeks, and then they just, like, I didn't approve the content. They just started putting it out, which I was like, oh, well, hopefully they have my voice figured out by now. And it's like, they just immediately go to fear-based stuff. And I'm
Oh,
just like, F that. I do
yeah.
not like fear-based marketing. If you
I
don't do
understand.
this, you're screwed. It's like,
Right.
no,
And
that's
like it's effective, but it's
right.
not
It's
yeah.
not, there's nothing you need.
Yes.
There's nothing you need, Rocket. There's nothing, as my cat starts stretching behind me. There's nothing you need. Um, so last but not least for this episode, Golden, what is your best tip to market spicy books when you can't always get approved the spicy words or the pictures with ads and content? Like, what do you do?
So I do a couple things. One is that I'll go for the emotion, the emotional scenes, because
Hmm.
there's with the spicy books, people tend to think, oh, it's all about the spice, but it's not. There's
Mm-hmm.
usually, unless you're writing actual erotica, there is
Right.
more to the story. So you go to the hero, the heroine, what makes them tick? What's the conflict? Why can't they be together? What's the juicy drama that
Mm-hmm.
people are getting into the book for? Because while the spice is fun, a lot of people are going for like shock value with some of the spicy scenes
Right.
because the readers, it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's exciting. But what usually keeps people coming back over and over again is whether or not it taps into their emotions, whether or not they
Yes.
feel something while they're writing the book. So if you can tap into those emotions before they even pick up the book and be like, this is what you're going to feel, this is what the hero and heroine are feeling, this is any way that you can kind of create that relatability. And I say that because I try to make my books relatable, but any way that you can create like an emotional resonance
Yeah.
that people can respond to. And then the other thing that I'll do is a lot of the time, because I'm an extrovert, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how introverts would feel about this one, but I will talk a lot about what the books mean to me. I'll talk about
Yeah.
my favorite scenes. I'll talk about why I wrote the book, the message that I wanted to get across in the book. I'll Taylor Swift it sometimes. I do tons of Easter eggs in my book, and I love talking about them and asking if anybody caught them. So really just enhance, talking about my experience with the book, the parts of revealing the parts of myself that I put into the book or that I put into one of the characters. Things, the what the book means to me, like
Yeah.
all encompassing what the book means to me, which again has nothing to do with the spice. And I
Right.
think, but I have found both of those avenues to be very effective marketing because they are things that people like to hear about.
That's great. Yeah, I think it's smart, and I think it avoids you getting flagged, which is
Also, yes.
always a nice thing. Which is always a nice thing. Awesome. Well, Golden, we need a question of the week. Obviously, we can ask any of these kind of questions from our hot potatoes of wisdom about kind of the neurodivergence thing. We can ask about TikTok, anything at all. Is there something you want to specifically ask?
Oh,
And if not, it's okay. I can come up with it. But whatever you think. You
what
want it? Mm-hmm.
is, let's see. I'm just trying to think of how to phrase it.
Yeah, of course. We've got this.
What is your definition of success as an author?
That's a really
Because
good question.
I feel like I see a lot of authors who don't actually know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them suffer, and me included in the past, I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
better about it. It's still a problem
Yeah.
sometimes, but a
Yeah.
lot of the imposter syndrome comes from not feeling successful, and yet we have either achieved the thing that we thought would make us feel successful. Hi, I did that over and over again and then kept moving the goalpost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or we don't know what will make us feel successful. And
Right.
I think that it's a really important question to ask, especially because when it comes to like marketing tactics, when it comes to the decisions we make about how we're going to write and what we're going to write and everything like that, that metric of like, what do I consider success? That is going to drive all the decisions for all those things. Because if you consider success to be being a New York Times bestseller, you're going to do very different things from someone who considers success to be a full-time author career.
Right.
So,
Love that question, Golden. I think a lot of people need to define this for themselves. So, what is your definition of success as an author? You can answer that question over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. We're at sellmorebookshow.com. You can go check out Golden Angel's books at goldenangelromance.com. Golden, it was a delight to have you on the show today.
it's so nice getting to chat with you.
And on your birthday.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, so awesome. And we'll be back next week on this other episode. So, but I really appreciate you doing this today. You were awesome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I was incredibly flattered and honored to get that email from you. So.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. So for Golden, I'm Bryan. I might tease my new course a little bit more next week. So stay tuned. But for Golden, I'm Bryan. Have a great week of book selling, everybody, and we'll be back next week for episode 594. Bye.